Good Monday morning. It is time to play Monday morning quarterback. It is time to take a look at all the wild and crazy things that took place over the weekend. Oh, it is time to celebrate how gosh darn great football is. Tell you what. For those of you out there who aren't able to get your honey-do list done on Saturday and it rolls into Sunday, I feel for you. I really do. I my heart hurts for you because you're missing some gosh darn great football. Wow. Um once again. It doesn't fail to disappoint. It just doesn't. Um, Absolutely ruined my week when it came to Hawks pick 6. Who cares? No big deal. No big deal. It's only week 3. Not overly worried about it. Wow. Just the way that some of these games played out, you really couldn't have predicted. The way that some of them played out, it was just one of those things where you went, how? It made you question everything you thought was going to take place. And guess what? That's what it's supposed to do. And it did. We were questioning if maybe we were wrong. Maybe these teams aren't as good. Maybe we've got other teams that can't figure anything out. Well, yeah. Maybe we got some teams that are better than we thought they were. That's a possibility. Maybe we got some teams that just have the good luck of the football gods on their side. That's definitely a possibility. But one thing that is an absolute fact, football is great. And I absolutely love it. All right. So let's jump right into this here because we've got a lot to talk about between NFL, Major League Baseball, WNBA. I mean, it is a packed day and it is going to be a packed week, which is absolutely fantastic. For me, it means I have to figure out what to do less than normal. So, where do we want to start? Let's start here. So I was thinking about this while watching some of the games yesterday. You know how when you're going through life, unfortunately, as an adult, you end up getting to these points where you make decisions and you're not really sure what to do, but your inclination is to take the lesser of the two evils if there's not one that seems like a very clear option. And I was looking at how some of the games played out yesterday. And I still believe right now that there are teams that are being way too careful. I believe there are teams that are trying to choose the lesser of two evils instead of finding that perfect position, idea, or path. What do I mean by that? Well, really simply, you watched yesterday teams that were better lose. teams that were definitely better got conservative. And when you go conservative, you better have everything in a row. You better have everything in a row. You better have your ducks in a row, your I's dotted, your T's crossed, if you're going to go fully conservative. Now, yesterday was an absolutely wild day. Let's jump into some of the games. So, oh no more. The Chiefs, Panthers, Browns, and Bears all got their first win of the year. And the Panthers and Browns and Bears got it in an emphatic fashion. And I mean emphatic. Wow. Watching yesterday, I was looking at how some of the games were playing out. And I just kept watching the Green Bay game. It was live here. And I'm going, at halftime, it's 3-0. And I'm just thinking, I'm going, okay. At the end of the third quarter, it's 10-0 Green Bay. And I'm like, all right, get a touchdown, game's over. Whatever. That didn't happen. In fact, what actually happened in the fourth quarter was wild. So it was a wild turn of events. At 4 minutes to go, the Browns are driving, looking like they're going to kick a field goal. Browns are driving. They're down 10-3. They kick the field goal to now be down 10-3. Okay, sorry, the Packers were up 10-0. They're now down 10-3 with 3 minutes and like 35 seconds left in the game. What happened on the next possession was absolutely wild. So Packers do a jet sweep to Golden. They get 4 yards out of it. Then they do another jet sweep, also to Golden, get 3 yards out of it. So you're sitting here now at 3rd and 3. Okay? Got about, I think it was like 3:15 left. And instead of running the ball, they're at the 25-yard line. They throw it. They do a slant. And Grant Delpit picks off Jordan Love and sets up a gorgeous drive opportunity. He returns at 25 yards, down at the 4-yard line. The Browns start the 4-yard line, one play. Congrats to Quinshon Judkins for getting the ball in the end zone. Well done, he had an outstanding day. But now you're tied, and you're thinking, okay, fine. It's 10-10. That's all right. Packers get the ball back. And then wouldn't you know it? Just wouldn't you know it? Packers got down to the Cleveland 25. It's only a 43-yard field goal. The Browns block the field goal, return it to the Cleveland 47. And they're lucky that it only went that. It could have been returned for a touchdown. It easily could have. The ball just kept bouncing and he wasn't able to get it. And then to the credit of Joe Flacco and Kevin Stefanski, They had 5 plays. 2 of them were spikes. 3 of them got yardage. They got an out route. They had an incomplete pass that Flacco threw over. And then they had this great play where they did an in slant with only 9 seconds left on the clock. In slant, threw it to Njoku, first down, get some more yardage, and they set up the game-winning walk-off 55-yard field goal for the W. The Cleveland Browns defense is good against teams not named the Baltimore Ravens. The Browns shut down the Bengals. The Browns shut down the Packers. Jordan Love, 18 of 25, 183 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 5 sacks. Josh Jacobs had 16 carries for 30 yards. As a team, they had 31 carries for 81 yards. The Browns, Quinshon Judkins, hallelujah, good for him. 18 carries, 95 yards, broke out a 38-yard run. They're still struggling in the passing. Flacco was 21 of 36, 142 yards, but he was only sacked twice and had an interception. No fumbles. Malik Collins had a sack and a half. Mason Graham had half a sack. Schlesinger had a sack. It was an absolutely beautiful day. Brandon McManus. That kick was probably going to go good and the Packers were going to win. But it got blocked. So the Browns get a huge W. Another statement was the Panthers 30-0 over the Falcons. And this one I really don't get. They had a plan last week against the Vikings. And you could tell the Panthers were just kind of fed up, but the routes weren't great. The routes weren't great. Drake London for the Falcons, 5 receptions on 8 targets. Darnell Mooney, 4 receptions on 11 targets. Kyle Pitts, 4 receptions on 6. Bijan, 5 receptions on 6. Ray McCloud, 2 receptions on 5. Now, the other side wasn't much better. This is where it gets really interesting because it's not that Bryce Young actually dominated. It was Tetairoa McMillan at 3 receptions on 8 targets. Neither quarterback really did outstanding. The defense was really good yesterday. The Panthers secondary absolutely came in, played hard. But there was just something about yesterday. There was just something. Teams that had been talked about going, their season's already over, they stood up yesterday. The Bears heard it too. The Bears annihilated the Cowgirls. Now, did CeeDee Lamb going out have a little bit to do with it? Sure. But Dak Prescott was 31 of 40, 251 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He was sacked twice. Caleb Williams, 19 of 28, 298 yards, 4 touchdowns. That ginormous touchdown to Luther Burden, 65-yard touchdown completion on the flea flicker. That was a thing of beauty. That was a thing of beauty. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And the reality is right now, the Cowboy defense is the worst. And it doesn't matter if Parsons is there. The secondary is awful. I mean, just awful. And the Bears took yesterday straight away from the Cowboys, 31-14. And And the Cowboys are really, I mean, they're in a position now. They got to figure out what they're going to do. Because it doesn't look good. The Bears get their first W. The Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Here's something that I saw last night. 22-9 was the Chiefs' score. That was the final. 22-9, Chiefs over the Giants. That Chiefs team can be beat. If the Giants had another receiver besides Neighbors, they would have been beat because they rolled coverage. I mean, they had 3 people. He was triple covered most of the night. Russell Wilson was getting frustrated because he's an awful quarterback, because he kept wanting to take the deep shot and try to show off that he can still throw the ball deep instead of taking what the defense was giving him until the end of the game, and then he would still take those stupid shots. He didn't need to. They were in the game. I really think after Sunday night's game, Jackson Dart has got to play. You've got to let him play. He can run the ball. He's going to throw and make mistakes, but he's going to throw it to spots on the field. He's not just going to throw lollipops up and over. It's not going to be 50-50 balls all the time. The Chiefs won. They get their first win. It didn't look great, but they got their first win. The Giants need to start Dart. I really believe this team has a shot. Cam Skattebo, absolute stud. Loved him at Arizona State. I didn't think he was going to supplant Tracy. He runs so gosh darn hard, though. He looks like Maurice Jones-Drew when he's running. He just runs with straight power. It is fun to watch him run. And the Giants have something. They held the Chiefs' offense in check. The Giants simply just need, and it makes no sense because they have Brian Daboll as a head coach. They need an offensive line that can control the offensive line in at least 3 of the 5 positions. Andrew Thomas got benched last night. Again, I don't know if he's still, well, he was on the injury report. So I'm guessing the injury is still hampering his ability. His ankle injury is still hampering his ability to plant when he's getting rushed, which against Karlaftis or Chris Jones could easily be an issue. But when you look at everything, you just go, holy cow. The way that yesterday played out, so many close games. So many close games. And if you remember, on Friday I told you, heading into this weekend, teams that were 4.5 or more point underdogs were 0-12. Guess what happened yesterday? The Browns win. Yesterday morning when I got up, it was 9.5 to the Packers. Browns win. Panthers win. That was 5.5 point underdog. That was a 5.5 point underdog. Huge win for the Panthers. The Jets, they lost, but they covered. They were 6.5 point underdogs yesterday. In the morning, they covered. It was absolutely wild. It was just wild. Now, we need to touch on this game because I called it. I was right, and the way this thing played out was so fun. The Cincinnati Bengals get roasted by the Vikings 48-10. Yes, you heard me. 48-10. Listen to this. The fumbles. Samaje Perine, fumble. Noah Fant, fumble. Jamar Chase, fumble. Minnesota Vikings defense. 2 touchdowns. Both by Isaiah Rodgers. Interception return for a touchdown and a fumble return for a touchdown. Offensively, Carson Wentz, not too shabby. 14 of 20, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, He was sacked 3 times. But it doesn't look bad. Jordan Mason is absolutely the starter now with Aaron Jones on IR. 16 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Pretty big. Pretty big. But this is what I said about the Bengals. Jake Browning can play, but he's not going to get the interceptions to go away right now. You're going to have to wait a little bit. And I don't know if the Bengals have time for him to work into this. It's going to get really interesting. That is for sure. It will get really interesting. All right. Boom. We still got 2 more things to go over with. But, man, I tell you what, I was watching it all weekend. Here we go. 10,000-foot view of sports. And this weekend, oh, my gosh. I left you on Friday, and I go, this could be completely switched around on Monday morning when we come back. And boy, is it ever. Boy, is it ever. So the Detroit Tigers are just in a straight slump right now. The New York Mets lost a game to the Nationals. The Reds This was awesome. The Reds swept the Cubs. 4-game series against the Cubs. 1-0, 7-4, 6-3, 1-0. Just absolute. I mean, they are dialed in to try to make the playoffs. Last night, the Giants knocked off the Dodgers. The Diamondbacks knocked off the Phillies. And the Marlins knocked off the Rangers. And that's huge because it's basically taking the Rangers out of contention. The Guardians lost yesterday, which gave the Tigers a chance to gain away. That did not happen. And when you look at everything now, the Blue Jays punch their ticket. They win. The Yankees are 2 games behind the Blue Jays. This is where we're at right now. So, reset. 1 week left in the Major League Baseball season. 1 week left. The Blue Jays are 2 games in front of the Yankees. They are 5 games in front of the Red Sox. In the Central, the Tigers are 1-9 in their last 10. They have lost 6 in a row. 6 in a row. The Guardians are 9-1 in their last 10. They would have been 10-0. They lost yesterday. Twins knocked them off yesterday. They lost yesterday. They are 1 game back of the Tigers with a 3-game series starting today. Guardians and Tigers. Starting tomorrow, not today. There's only 3 games today. There's only 3 today. Starting tomorrow, Guardians and Tigers. And then in the West, the Astros lost 3 in a row. Huge losses. While the Mariners have won 4 in a row after sweeping the Astros basically out of contention for the American League West. The Rangers are definitely out. They have lost 7 in a row. They have faltered at the end of the year, unfortunately. They made a nice solid run. They can still finish above 500, but that's about as good as it's going to get for the Rangers. But the Astros are now 3 games back of the Mariners for the American League West position. The Phillies control the National League East. Brewers control the Central. Dodgers, right now, they control the West. They're 3 games in front of the Padres, and they're pretty handily in that position. But check out the wild card. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 days. It is a 4-team race in the American League. The Yankees are pretty comfortable at position number 4. But then the Red Sox are only a game in front of the Guardians and a game in front of the Astros. The Red Sox have plenty of reason to be worried. Game in front of the Guardians, game in front of the Astros. Now remember, the Guardians are a game behind the Tigers. If that swaps, either the Tigers or the Guardians can be sitting there. 4 teams, 3 spots. Everybody's within a game. Astros have lost 3 in a row. The Yankees have won 2 in a row. They're 7-3 in their last 10. It's big. It is big. You look at the National League. This one is even better. You got the Cubs comfortably in 4th position, even with getting swept by the Reds. You got the Padres comfortably sitting in position number 5. But in that 6th position, you have the Reds, the Mets, and the Diamondbacks. The Reds have won 5 in a row. The Mets lost 2 of 3 to the Nationals. And the Diamondbacks have won 2 in a row. They got the series win over the Philadelphia Phillies. They are 7-3 in their last 10. The Giants, I am going to say, are kind of out of it right now. They are 3-7 in their last 10. They had a couple of really tough series. Once again, great fight. They're out. Cardinals, I think, are out. But there's this team. The Marlins are 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 6 in a row. The Braves have won 8 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Some of these bottom teams, it's too far too late. But the Marlins can easily jockey the standings position if they can keep winning. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. The Braves open up a series against the Nationals. The Padres have a tough series against the Brewers coming in. And the Giants and the Cardinals play each other. So depending on how that series plays out, the standings, not playoff, but the standings could change. But the Diamondbacks, Mets, Reds, 3 teams, 1 spot. American League, 4 teams, 3 spots. So let's look at the schedule. What games do we have starting on Tuesday? What are the series leading up to the final weekend of the regular season in Major League Baseball? The Tigers at the Indians. Tigers at the Indians. Huge, huge series. Game number 1, Tariq Skubal against Gavin Williams. Game number 2, Jack Flaherty against Tanner Bibby. Game number 3, we don't know who's pitching for Detroit yet, but Parker Messick is pitching for the Guardians. Also, the Boston Red Sox at the Toronto Blue Jays. This is a huge series. Toronto cannot slow down. They're only 2 games in front of the New York Yankees. They can't slow down. There is no ability to slow down if you're the Blue Jays. You got to keep playing. Well, that's not good for Boston, who is now sitting there only a game in front of the Astros and the Guardians. That series is huge. The Mets at the Cubs. This series is huge for the Mets because the Reds get a 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. if the Mets want to maintain a position where they can make the playoffs, they have got to beat the Cubs. Now, the Cubs just got swept by the, Reds. But now they're back home. Huge series. Here we go. The Dodgers are playing the Diamondbacks. Now, this is bigger for the Diamondbacks than it is for the Dodgers. But the Diamondbacks are sitting there waiting and hoping that the Reds and the Mets both slip up so they can slide in to that spot there as the last wild card team. 1 game back. The Astros are at the Athletics. I have told you, the Athletics are heartbreakers. The Athletics are heartbreakers. Do not be surprised if the Athletics come together as a team and they go into today thinking we can ruin their life. We could ruin their entire hopes and dreams if we sweep these Astros. I mean, just saying. And they could, by the way. They could. The season series is tied 2-2. The Athletics won 3-1. Astros won 13-3. Astros won 11-4. Athletics won 6-4 in 10. That was back in June. Athletics actually have the season series currently 6-4. Pretty impressive. The Athletics play the Astros really tough. They could easily knock out the Astros. Easily. Absolutely. Then there's this series, and it's not a huge one, but it is one I want to watch. I do want to watch what happens between the Marlins and the Phillies. I want to see how the Phillies handle the end of the year because the Brewers have the number 1 spot. Phillies probably have the number 2. They are 4 games in front of the Dodgers, so they're comfortable. But I want to see how the Marlins play. I mean, who knows? The Marlins are technically only 4 games back in the wild card. We've seen some wild things happen this year so far. We've seen some wild things happen in the last month of baseball. So this is going to be a huge week. Huge week. I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for it. All right. Here we go. Here we go. So, one of the things that also took place was Saturday's college football slate, which I thought was going to be somewhat boring. Not going to lie. We had the main games, and that was about it. Well, contrariwise. Yeah, the big teams, top-ranked teams, didn't really struggle. I tell you what, though. There are a couple teams that are really in trouble. Oklahoma State lost to Tulsa on Friday night, 19-12. It was an ugly game. It was an ugly game. It was bad. It was bad. And then on Saturday, my Hoosiers just romped all over Illinois. Just romped all over Illinois. 63-10. I loved it. I absolutely. You put up 63 on the number 9th ranked team in the country Whether you think they should have been ninth or not, they were a top 25 team. Whether it's 9, 19, I don't care. You put up 63 points in a standalone game on NBC for the whole country to see. I am so gosh darn proud of them. I love Mendoza. I love our running backs. I love the way our defense is attacking. I love this team. And yes, the Hoosiers can play with the top teams from the Big Ten. And they're going to have to, because Big Ten play started and it doesn't stop until the season is now over. Oklahoma beats Auburn, regardless of whether or not it should have been a penalty on the hideout tactic on the touchdown play. I'm sorry, I hate the rule about not being able to be of gamesmanship. If you're a corner on defense, watch the receiver. Watch the receiver. He got set. They talked to the refs. I'm good with it. Oklahoma designed a beautiful play. They beat Auburn 24-17. Texas Tech also put down a romping in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter alone. It was 10-3, Tech over Utah heading into the fourth quarter. It looked like it just flat out looked like a Big 12 defensive game. Tech scored 24 points in that fourth quarter. 24-7 in the fourth quarter. They beat Utah 34-10. Michigan. Listen, Nebraska stopped tackling, and it worked out in their favor. They knocked off Nebraska 30-27. Matt Rule still needs to get a big win. He has the team to do it. The tackling failed. Offense didn't look horrible. Raiola had over 300 passing yards. None of it really was bad offensively, but defensively it looked absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And it was all tackling. Missouri knocks off South Carolina 29-20. Notre Dame crushed Purdue. USC gets their big win. They're now 4-0. 45-31 over Michigan State. And then there's this game that's on the ticker right there. Clemson loses to Syracuse 34-21. Clemson is now 1-3 and they are 0-2. Georgia Tech, Syracuse, 0-2 in the ACC. This is ridiculous. This is bad. Last year it was Florida State. Now, they don't look as bad as Florida State sometimes. But, my goodness. Clemson doesn't have a defense. What is going on? What is going on? You look at their schedule. The game they should easily win is this week. They are at North Carolina. But then they're at Boston College. SMU, Duke, Florida State, at Louisville, Furman. No guarantees. Remember how they struggled with Troy. And then at South Carolina to close the year. They are not making the college football playoff without winning the ACC. It just ain't happening. And the team they're playing next week, North Carolina, got crushed by UCF 34-9. Bill Belichick doesn't really look comfortable. He does not look comfortable whatsoever. Kansas rolled West Virginia 41-10. That was huge. That was huge. Boise State gets back in their winning ways, wins 49-37 over Air Force, but the defense is still suspect. Washington beats Washington State in the Apple Cup 59-24. Virginia beat Stanford 48-20. Arizona State and Baylor. This was a fun game to watch. Arizona State and Baylor. 27-24. Wild game. Absolutely fantastic. And then 23-21. Fresno State over Hawaii. Yep, Fresno State over Hawaii. And California got blanked by the San Diego State Aztecs, 34-0. 34-0. All right. So, off of that, here's something we've been talking about all year. Whew. Field goals prove both costly and rewarding in week 3. The Jets had a field goal block. The Browns had a field goal block. The Eagles had a field goal block. I believe, if I remember right, I believe the Colts had a field goal block. I don't know if it went down as one. I know Grove got his hand on it. But I watched the Titans and Colts game. I said if they kept going the way they were going that I was going to believe in destiny and that the football gods have already decided the Colts are going to be a lot better because of everything. Here we are. They beat the Titans. But I started looking at all this across the league. So for the Titans, they've got Joey Sly. Huge leg kicker. Huge leg kicker. The Bills and Matt Prater. You had the Falcons, who brought in John Parker Romo to replace Koo. He missed 2 yesterday. There was a missed field goal in the Jacksonville Jaguar Texan game by both Cam Little and Kymie Fairburn. You had the Buccaneers and the Jets. Folk makes both of his. McLaughlin for the Buccaneers was 5 of 6. 5 of 6. That 6 that he missed was the block. I mean, good grief. Field goals are starting. I don't know if it's because of the length. I don't know what it's because of. They matter so much. They are changing the game. They are changing the game outcome. Simple illustration of this. The Colts would have had a lot less comfort if the Titans would have completed and connected on both the field goals. Now, yes, the second field goal attempt, the 5-yard penalty, I was watching it. It didn't look right. I think the NFL will address it probably sometime today or tomorrow, that the referees screwed up by not getting the kicking ball into play. They get a 5-yard delay game penalty. I fully believe that was on the refs. Just watching it, I noticed that's what happened. They did not get the kicking ball in, and that definitely screwed up the kick-ish. Made it a lot longer. Sly misses again. He missed 2 field goals yesterday. Matt Gay, even in a win for the Commanders, also missed a field goal. And you're looking at it. Chad Ryland for the Cardinals missed a field goal. They win if it wasn't for that. I am not going to comment on Graham Gano last night. He has an injured groin. It hurts. He has an injured groin. And I'm not, that's an injury that is completely different. I'm not going to even, no, we're not entertaining that idea. But you look, you really, really, really got to figure out what you're going to do. Blake Group for the Saints missed a field goal. Kickers are vitally important. They're changing outcomes of games. They're changing the way the game is played because you get the ball where the kicker kicked it from. It's huge. The way it can swap momentum, the way it can halt what was a great drive. I mean, we saw last night, Harrison Butker, after the penalty, missed the extra point. Actually, he missed two, didn't he? Yeah, he missed a field goal and an extra point. Boy, field goal kickers are going to be everything. As this season plays out, the teams that have a field goal kicker they can rely on will be the teams that win games. The teams that don't have a field goal kicker that they can rely on will not win games. I mean, Spencer Schrader for the Indianapolis Colts missed one yesterday. Field goal kickers. I think they may need to do this, and I know they're going to be like, no, we can't. I think they need to move the holding spot back. Maybe an extra yard, if not just half a yard. Get more separation between you and the offensive line for those big 6'7" hands to go in the air and for you to kick over the top of them. I think the way these guys are blocking him, Jordan Davis's block on Joshua Carty yesterday, outstanding. The Rams played it perfectly. They were going to win the game over the Eagles. They should have won the game over the Eagles. They collapsed. But just the way it plays out. I mean, field goal kickers are going to change everything. And they should. They should. Because going forward on fourth down gives you no chance of points unless you make it. And when you make it, you still may not get a touchdown. It still may be a field goal attempt. I love it. There are some really good kickers in the NFL. When it gets blocked, that's not on the kicker most times. That's not on the kicker. Unless he just kicks it so low. If it hits the forearm of, the defensive player, that kick was way too low. But if it goes off the fingertips, these guys are 6'5", 6'7" now. Give me a break. They got some tall hands that they got to get the kick over. But it's going to change how everything is. And I think it's wildly important. Like yesterday, Romo misses 2 field goals for the Falcons. It was killer. Killer for the Falcons, not getting points. The Falcons got frustrated. I saw it on the sidelines. If you get a drive, you got to get points. You're only down this, you got to get a field goal. It changes the trajectory of the game. And it does it so well. All right, here we go. Let's speed through, go through every single game that took place yesterday, and then let's get out of here on a still raining and wet Monday morning. But the weather cooled off. It's going to be like 72. So, you're going to win from 88 and 90s over the weekend to 72. So, here we go. Thursday night football, Bills annihilated the Dolphins 31-21. The Dolphins were never really in the game. DraftKings even said it. Even when it was tied, you couldn't pick the Bills for anything whatsoever. The Bills controlled the game, ended up winning it outright. They are definitely the team to beat in the AFC East. The Vikings smash the Cincinnati Bengals behind a complete defensive effort, and Carson Wentz filling in for J.J. McCarthy. Looks like they may have something without J.J. McCarthy right now. They win 48-10. The New England Patriots fight so hard. Give them time. You're not going to beat them. Pittsburgh Steelers were up. Patriots came back. Steelers get the final touchdown. They win the game 21-14. And really, it was the fumbles by Stevenson, Gibson. I know Vrabel's really ticked off today. If they play a clean game, fumbles-wise, you're going to take an interception every once in a while. You understand that in a league where you're throwing 35, 40 times, the chances for an interception go way up. You understand that, but you can't have all those fumbles. Steelers get the win, 21-14. AFC South matchup, Texans versus Jaguars, slug match. Man, was it fun to watch. Constantly hitting each other. These guys were hitting hard. Playing hard. Jacksonville gets the win, 17-10 over the Houston Texans. The Texans are now 0-3 and not where you want to be. Carolina Panthers blanked the Falcons behind 2 missed field goals of Romo, 30-0. The Philadelphia Eagles win. They had the win, and then they get a block return for a touchdown over the Rams, 33-26. The Eagles have problems. The Rams collapsed. The Rams had that game in hand. The Eagles, they've got issues just like the Chiefs. The Rams had it, lost it on the road. They lose 33-26 to the Eagles. The Buccaneers needed a miracle drive by Baker Mayfield after the Jets took the lead 27-26 off of a blocked field goal. Tampa Bay drives down. Horrible defense on the sidelines by the Jets on that entire drive. Emeka Egbuka, we'll talk about Evans' injury tomorrow. Emeka Egbuka very quickly emerging as the guy down in Tampa, even over Mike Evans. This is interesting. Egbuka, outstanding. It begs the question, is Kyler Murray just not able to use Marvin Harrison because he can't do what a quarterback should do? Real questions. Buccaneers sneak out the win, 29-27 on a last-second field goal. The Commanders, without Jaden Daniels, still destroy the Raiders, 41-24. The Browns, behind a blocked field goal, beautiful 4-play sequence, get down into field goal range and beat the Packers, which is huge. It's huge. Beat the Packers 13-10. The Packers are no longer undefeated. The Chargers, though, they came back, beat the Broncos. Sean Payton has got to figure out how to close games out. He is one of the best coaches in NFL history, but he has not figured out how to close games out. I believe he worries about the pass too much. He needs to get back to running the football. He had Deuce McAllister. He had Alvin Kamara some. He's had good running backs. He has got to figure this out to be able to close games out. Chargers come back and win 23-20. The Seahawks smoke the Saints. The Saints on the road will not be a team that you have to worry about. 44-13. Defensively, they destroyed the Saints. Destroyed them. Get a huge win, 44-13. The 49ers let up a safety. They were down. And then the Cardinals, partially because of an injury, can't close them out. San Francisco drives down, kicks a field goal, no time left, win the game 16-15 over the Cardinals. The Bears, they were on top from the get-go. 31-14 over the Dallas Cowboys, and a huge game for Caleb Williams. And good game for Ben Johnson. And then the Chiefs in MetLife last night beat the Giants 22-9. The cries for Jackson Dart are going to get loud really, really quick, especially after Wilson once again looked like washed Wilson. It was bad last night. It's just bad. They want to see Dart. They know he's more electric. They know he's more exciting, and he causes people to respect you a lot more. He really does. He causes a lot of respect. So we'll see what happens. Jackson Dart definitely could be starting soon. If you're the Browns, do you bring in Gabriel? Flacco's been struggling. Judkins looks really good. Do you bring in Gabriel? What do you do? Cam Ward with Tennessee. I watched all day yesterday. He had that opening pick, but the guy right now has no receivers that are getting themselves really open. Brian Callahan, watching that game, it really frustrated me. It really did. It frustrated the crap out of me watching a head coach that is so inept. I thought Schottenheimer was going to be inept for the Cowboys. He is. Callahan is also bad. Callahan is that bad. He needs to give the routes. He finally started doing short zig routes, short cross routes, quick, easy throws, and it finally started working, but then he got down near the end zone and he kept doing a bunch of deep in routes. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Cam Ward still makes he makes amazing plays. And it's not a risk. Especially when you're down, it's not a risk. I loved watching Cam yesterday. I am really excited about his future. The offensive line needs to gel. They'll be able to run the ball a little bit better. And I think that I've said it. You won't want to play the Titans late. That's simple. So young quarterbacks, absolutely there. We'll see what happens. All right. That is it for me for today. 23-hour break until we come back. We'll go over all the injuries tomorrow. There are plenty. A couple of big ones. And we'll wait for word back on two very key receivers that'll come out today. So we will watch that, and I will give you all the updates tomorrow. It was a fantastic weekend of football. We got one more game. The Ravens and the Lions, Monday Night Football. I hope it's a good game. But NFC teams struggle in Baltimore. But we'll see what happens. All right, guys. That is going to be it for me. Thank you so much for hanging out. As always, I deeply appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Until tomorrow, when we look at the injuries, we recap the Monday night game, and we start looking ahead. We still got Major League Baseball playoffs. My gosh, we got a lot to go over. So we'll see you tomorrow. And until then, make it the best day that you can. Have the best Monday you can, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, 9 o'clock. For Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and I'm out. Have a great day, everyone.